And temperatures are falling fast as a cold front is working its way through the area this hour. Much colder air. We've got the rain showers. We'll track all of that coming up.
You're watching News 18 at 6. News from where you live.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Tiki.
And I'm Jeff Smith. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Our top story at 6, a Lafayette man police say failed to register as a sex offender is now accused of rape.
Marcus Bartol was arrested at his apartment late Friday night. They had been called there by a woman who had met Bartol earlier in the day and said he attacked her after he started acting strangely. They'd spent several hours together before the attack. Bartol told police that he'd been living at that apartment on North 26th Street for more than 4 days at the time. He was convicted of failing to register as a sex offender in 2019, and he now faces 2 new counts of that and other felonies, including rape and strangulation.
Indiana's infant mortality rate has slightly increased. Right now, the state's overall rate of 6.6 infant deaths per 1,000 live births is the second lowest in history. The data shows infant mortalities decreased among white and Hispanic infants, but increased among black infants. Also, a new report from Indiana's Maternal Mortality Review Committee found that substance use disorders have contributed to nearly half of maternal deaths that occurred between 2008 and 2019. Meanwhile, mental health conditions contributed to more than a third of those maternal deaths within the same time period.
Administrators at Lafayette's 2 hospitals say they're concerned about rising COVID rates as we head into the holidays. Numbers are up this week over last week, with Franciscan and IU Health Arnett reporting about 23 COVID positive hospitalizations as of Tuesday. IU Health's co-chief medical officer, Dr. Chris Mansfield, says he expects that trend to continue.
I'm getting pinged from our IU health system partners in other regions, meaning in Ball Memorial, the East Central region. They're really exploding. I mean, they've doubled their COVID numbers just over the last 4 days, which is dramatic. And we usually, see kind of an uptick after they see an uptick over on the east side of the state. And so it's not going away.
At Franciscan Health, 22 of the 23 COVID patients are unvaccinated.
Another 3,400 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The Indiana COVID dashboard shows another 71 new cases were reported in Tippecanoe County. The Protect Purdue dashboard is showing 89 active cases. Another 41 Hoosiers have died from the illness. 3 of those deaths took place in the WLFI viewing area. As always, for a county-by-county breakdown, head to WLFI.com. Food Finders Food Bank and Lafayette Transitional Housing are giving the community a chance to help with the resources they provide for people.
In a town hall meeting this morning, both of those organizations said the last 12 months have been difficult, and both organizations are seeing an increase in clients. News 18's Marvin Bills was in on that meeting. Marvin, leaders from both groups saying hunger and homelessness are critical issues right now in the community.
Jeff and Sam, good evening to you both. That's right. The town hall is a part of National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. According to Lafayette Transitional Housing Center, more than 1,800 people are using its services, and last year that number included 400 children. LTHC says in Tippecanoe County, the average rent rate is more than $800 a month, which means the renter would have to make more than $16 an hour. Now, as we've previously reported, Tippecanoe County is top 5 in the state with the most evictions filed this year. To address hunger and homelessness, LTHC partners with Food Finders Food Bank. Food Finders Food Bank says 13% of children in our area are food insecure.
We're both really trying to look forward, like to figure out what we can do, how can we continue to operate. There needs to be more food resources, there needs to be more low-income housing, and so that's what we're working on next.
Layton says the organization is working on creating homelessness prevention opportunities. Layton says the organization could really use volunteers right now. She says they have seen a dramatic decrease in part due to COVID. Attached to this story on WLFI.com are links with ways you can get involved in helping these organizations, especially as we approach the holidays and winter. In studio, Marvin Bills, News 18.
Marvin, thank you very much. A mild day today is giving way to a pretty chilly and wet evening.
Yes, Storm Team 18 meteorologist Lisa Montgomery joins us now with a first check of the forecast. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, yes, pretty soggy out there for our commute home this hour. We do have some showers pulling through the area, tracking off to the east-northeast, anywhere from Logansport stretching back into Warren County. And that's going to be the trend for the next several hours as the cold front works its way through. You can see some heavier pockets south of Boswell there, and we're going to have this all evening long. You can see where that cold front is ahead of it. We still have some mild temperatures behind it, already back into the mid to the upper 40s. So this is where the cold front is, right along that line there. That is dividing line. So we're going to have this for the rest of this evening. Then we'll see some clearing skies. This is what we're tracking. Rainy night. We're going to have some clearing overnight. So some cooler temperatures moving in back to a cold chill as early as tomorrow morning. You'll want to bundle up for the bus stop. And as you head out to work, we will have sunshine, but it will stay brisk. And we've got that cool down continuing. How cold will it get? Well, we're looking at some below freezing temperatures. We'll have a look at that forecast straight ahead.
All right, Lisa, thank you. A utility project in downtown West Lafayette is taking a little bit longer than expected.
Crews have been doing a utility project along North Chauncey Avenue between Columbia and North Streets for about 6 months. It includes stormwater, infrastructure, and electrical. The project manager, Scott Sinefeld, says delays are typical with underground work. Workers ran into unknown utilities due to their age. He says there wasn't record of them because they were so old. Crews have had to work around them.
There's a lot of activity in a very, very small space. So you couple that with excavation and just having to handle material and storage and what have you, it does stretch out that time, or adds to stretching out time, just because of the level of involvement.
Sinefeld says crews also replaced a main water line because they had already opened up the ground. That also slowed work down a bit. Sinefeld says they're looking into continuing construction this winter to speed up completion of the project.
Well, a late artist is being honored with the installation of one of her pieces at a local nonprofit. As News 18's Joe Paul reports, giving the piece a home was among her final wishes.
Giving new life to this reclaimed artwork.
Linda saw beauty and abundance everywhere. She used found objects for some of her work.
That's Sunny Miller, the sister of the late Linda Vanderkolk, the artist behind prominent community artwork like family farm objects in downtown Lafayette.
You can visit Linda's art throughout the community. The farmers market at 5th and Main in Lafayette, at Ivy Tech.
Vanderkolk approached Food Finders Food Bank about installing this sculpture in its boardroom, but she never had the chance. She died this year after a battle with a lung condition.
Linda had a cough for more than 30 years, but didn't let it slow her down.
The well-known artist left behind several last wishes.
Hanging this sculpture was one of them. I'm very glad to have had some work to do on her behalf.
Miller, an artist herself, is finishing what her sister couldn't. With a hammer and a nail, she puts on the final touches to this display of reclaimed cornucopias. It's a fitting piece for this Lafayette food pantry, says Kier Kreitz with Food Finders.
When you think of a cornucopia, I think you think of abundance and nourishment and plentifulness and all of that. And of course, that's the same mission that we want.
Monday would have been Vanderkolk's 70th birthday. Miller says the Purdue art teacher touched many lives.
She taught with such dedication, so thoroughly, for decades at Purdue and in many community settings as well.
Now it's her sister's honor to continue her legacy.
It's been so wonderful to have some work to do. It's much more fun than the grieving.
Reporting in Lafayette, Joe Paul, News 18.
Well, Vanderkolk is also the artist behind huge mosaics at Ivy Tech and several local elementary schools. Her sister says those pieces were great labors of love. Well, the West Lafayette Fire Department is needing new defibrillators. How the new devices would improve emergency response times coming up.
And the legal battle continues on an Indiana emergency powers law when the state Supreme Court will hear the case when we come back.
Hello, hello. Are we good? Is we good?
Did you say you were a singer?
You're watching News 18 at 6. News from where you live.
Welcome back. The West Lafayette Fire Department wants to upgrade some of its life-saving devices.
They're asking the city to buy 29 new automated external defibrillators. The current ones will no longer be approved by the FDA in February. WLFD is asking to budget $100,000 for them. 21 of them will be going into city buildings. The 8 others will go into fire trucks. WLFD Chief Jeff Need says the AEDs used by the fire departments allow first responders to monitor the patient's vital signs. He says they also allow a quicker transition when EMTs get to that patient.
As we transfer patient care to T's, they can literally just unhook our defibrillator and plug their defibrillator in.
Need says the AEDs in city buildings will have Wi-Fi capability. That will allow the fire department to know when they're being used so they can respond faster.
Well, the legal fight over the increased power that Indiana legislators gave themselves to intervene during public health emergencies will go before the state Supreme Court, but that won't happen for nearly 5 months. Today, the state's highest court issued an order taking over a lawsuit that Republican Governor Eric Holcomb filed against the GOP-dominated state legislature. He contends that a law granting the power violates the state constitution. The Supreme Court's order sets an April 7th hearing for oral arguments in that case.
Well, the daughters of a late avid motorcyclist are speaking out tonight about a theft committed against them.
News 18's Ani Kasparian spoke to those women today and joins us now with the story. Ani?
Hey Jeff, hey Sam. When I was chatting with the girls, you could see how they were both still so in shock about why someone would even do this in the first place. In June of this year, Mars Diaz and Lindsay Kroger's mother died from stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Not even 4 months later, on October 20th, someone stole her motorcycle. But this was not just any ordinary belonging of hers. This was their mother's passion in life.
It was her happiness, it was her pride and joy. Yeah. I mean, every free day that she had that it was nice outside, she was spending cleaning her motorcycle, taking it out, going and meeting up with other motorcycle friends, you know. Like, we grew up on the back of her motorcycle.
Luckily, a neighbor had a security camera facing the area where it was stolen. Mars was able to recognize 2 of the men who were involved, but not the thieves themselves. From the footage, you can't clearly see the thieves' faces, which makes them difficult to track. Although detectives at Lafayette Police Department are working on this case, the girls are still requesting her help as they try to locate this meaningful family heirloom. Tonight at 11, you can watch my full sit-down interview with them to hear more about the details of this ongoing mystery. Ani Kasparian, News 18.
All right, Ani, thank you very much.